Hello, gentle marketers. Welcome to season number 4, episode number 26 of the Gentle Business Revolution podcast, the show where we talk about marketing your business by disrupting the current marketing paradigm. I'm Sarah Senecroce, I'm the host here, and you know that you're in the right place if you are a heart-centered entrepreneur who is looking for a better way to market your business. Or you are an entrepreneur who is fed up with the traditional marketing model and are ready for a paradigm shift. And actually, I'll add one more. Because maybe you're not an entrepreneur, but you definitely resonate with the idea of gentle marketing, but you're currently working in a startup, in a B corporation, in a bigger corporate. So I'm calling you a marketing impact pioneer. As always, I have some pretty awesome episodes coming up, a mix of solo episodes and great interviews with entrepreneurs, authors, and change makers. And otherwise, still the same concept. Also in this season, no cringy ads for my favorite granola bar or underwear on this podcast. This is a 100% self-funded show from now on, edited in-house by my amazing business manager, Andrea, who just happens to have a master's in music and sound engineering. Lucky me, right? So no ads except for my own products. Yes, you will notice I have 2 new short testimonial compilations for the Gentle Marketing program, which I'll insert here and there, starting with today's episode. Deal? Thank you. Great.
I know marketing is a must for any business to succeed and survive. I have read, watched, and participated in various programs in the past, yet many seemed to come from a fear or scarcity place, which didn't feel in alignment with who I am or what I wanted to present to potential customers. So I was truly inconsistent in my marketing, promoting, and my messaging. As I went through the Gentle Marketing Revolution process, I felt like I wasn't alone and I enjoyed the group collaboration. I learned that it was okay to be more myself and that marketing doesn't need to be a scare tactic to get customers.
The quality of the program, as in everything Sarah does, was excellent. The video lessons, the course materials, and the live discussions led by Sarah were all thoughtful as well as thought-provoking, well-planned as well as well-executed. I feel like I have finally found a community of people who are dedicated to a way of marketing that aligns with your values and the belief that being your most authentic self is the path to creating a successful business. Many thanks to Sarah for creating this program, and I highly recommend it.
There are 2 things I absolutely loved about the Gentle Marketing Revolution program. The assignments were fantastic, and the friendship on the calls. I'm absolutely recommending this course to my friends and colleagues. Sarah's 7-part mandala brings the focus back to what's most important and what's possible in your business. Not just the systems, but the heart that makes it all happen. Thanks, Sarah.
You wouldn't be listening to this podcast if the cookie-cutter, fear-based approach was still working for you. Whether you are just starting out or have been in business for a while, this program will help you set the foundation to attract like-minded clients and then become the person who can reach bigger goals, whatever they are. Check out the details at thegentlemarketingrevolution.com, and if your intuition calls you to join us, I'd love to have you. All right, let's talk about today's episode. This one falls, I was not sure where to put it under, but I decided to put it under the P of passion and the P of personal power of the Gentle Marketing Mandala. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can download my 1-page marketing plan in the form of a mandala at sarahsenecroce.com/1 page. It comes with a daily email prompt over 7 days to help you work on your plan. So a recent email from Paul Jarvis from The Company of One, so Paul wrote this book called The Company of One, really resonated with me. It was talking about the idea of enough. And I reached out to ask if he would come on the show, but unfortunately he's recovering. He's a fellow introvert, recovering from a year of book promotion and too many interviews. So this is just me riffing on this topic of enough and comparitis. So let's start by saying that enough is different for everyone depending on their current situation. In my case, we have 2 kids and we live in one of the most expensive countries in the world. Switzerland is very expensive. I'm sure you probably heard that before. Our enough is therefore most likely higher than someone else's enough who's living in a cheaper location. We need more money for the same things. Like people are always amazed or shocked when they come visit Switzerland and they go to a restaurant because it's just way, way more expensive. So our enough only applies to us. If we compare our enough to someone else's, we might have the same lifestyle, but we need more because everything is more expensive over here. So Paul says in his email, enough is the antithesis of unchecked growth because growth encourages mindless consumption and enough requires constant questioning and awareness. Enough is when we reach the upper bound of what's required. Enough revenue means our business is profitable and can support however many employees, freelancers we have, even if it's just one person. Enough income means we can live our lives with a bit of financial ease and put something away for later. Enough means our families are fed, have roofs over their heads, and their futures are considered. Enough stuff means we have what we need to live our lives without excess. He then explains that there are basically 2 camps of enough, the pre-enough and the enough. I'm quoting again. Pre-enough means we haven't quite reached the state of what's truly required. When a business starts, it's very hard to be at enough instantly, so we have to work to reach it. Pre-enough income means that we don't yet have what we need to get by. Pre-enough typically means we've got to work a little harder to reach our enough. We hustle, we work harder and get things done. Growth here makes sense because we need to grow into our own enoughs. I love this, growing into our own enoughs. But that means knowing where our enough is, very similar to the discussion of our own definition of success. Growth is not always the answer. Sometimes enough is the answer. So let's take that brilliant statement of Paul again. Enough is the antithesis of unchecked growth because growth encourages mindless consumption and enough requires constant questioning and awareness. Tony, who's my husband, and I often label some of our problems rich people problems. Not because we're rich, but because these are problems of people who have enough. In a way, we're creating our own problems, like deciding where to spend our vacation or whether to renovate the kitchen or the bathroom, these things. It's so easy to be in this trance and strive for mindless consumption. Enough, on the other hand, requires questioning and awareness. Do we really need new bathrooms? Do I really want to hire employees and grow the business? I feel that my hippie upbringing has definitely contributed to how I think about this concept of enough. I'm not so interested in material things. But even so, I sometimes notice myself comparing my enough to someone else's enough. So much so that it can lead to comparitis. Some time ago, I was working with a coach who helped me look at some of my limiting beliefs related to money and success. About 3 months into our coaching collaboration, I noticed my body tensing up every time I saw one of her social media posts of her sharing her successes. I heard these snarky remarks in my head going, easy for you, you know all the right people, or if I had as much money put away as you, etc., etc. It got to the point where I decided that if I really wanted to work on my limiting beliefs or shadows, like they are sometimes referred to in the self-development scene, I should probably bring up this jealousy during one of our coaching calls. And I'm so glad I did, because right there and then it ended my comparitis by admitting my envy to the person I was envious of. You can imagine that wasn't that easy. Well, by doing that, I shone the light on my shadow. During our conversation, we discussed again my definition of success, which isn't much different from my enough. And I realized how different mine was from hers, even if on the surface they might appear similar. I could let go of comparing or striving for her enough. It wasn't mine. And instead, I could just be happy for her and celebrate her and go back to focus on my enough. Are you sometimes also getting lost in the mindless pursuit of more or in comparing your success with others? Then maybe it's time to sit down and actually really think about your enough. I hope this episode will help you with that reflection. Again, this was inspired by an email from Paul Jarvis, author of the book Company of One, Why Staying Small is the Next Big Thing for Business. And I'm actually reading it right now. And so far, I can really attest that it's a really good read. So go find out more about his book on Amazon or wherever books can be bought. To see the show notes for this episode, please go to sarahsenecroce.com/GBR26. And in the next episode, I'll be back talking to Dana Wild about training your brain and feel-good marketing. It's going to be a good one. Don't miss it. I hope you'll join me on this journey to a kinder marketing paradigm. And please invite your friends to join us by sharing this podcast or the Gentle Business Manifesto with them. Both can be found at thegentlebusinessrevolution.com. Thanks so much for tuning in today, and I speak to you next week. Take care.